Floyd Mayweather Jr. started his jail sentence on June 1st. Life behind bars is a far cry from the glamorous one he is used to.
I'm not trying to boast what I have accomplished in life, but I'm just saying this to repeat. You might forget that the best fighter in the world.
Manny Pacquiao mocked Floyd Mayweather following reports of his possible arrest in a fraud case. Mayweather is accused of scams involving fake property deals and unpaid debts. Pacquiao commented that karma has finally caught up with the money man, who now faces serious legal consequences for his actions.
There's been a lot of bad news associated with the Mayweather name over the past several weeks, and Floyd Mayweather has had no control over any of it.
Manny Pacquiao seized the moment to publicly mock Floyd Mayweather following reports of his arrest tied to a fraud investigation. Pacquiao criticized Mayweather for prioritizing exhibition paychecks over real boxing achievements, suggesting that arrogance has finally caught up with him. He emphasized that true champions lead with humility, not ego, and reminded fans that boxing is about legacy, not self-promotion or material wealth. According to Pacquiao, real greatness doesn't need to be flaunted with diamonds, private jets, or endless boasting. It is proven in the ring, through discipline, respect, and meaningful victory.
I believe his name's Conor McGregor, yeah. Have you seen him? And if you have, what do you think of that? Just him as a fighter and then that whole Mayweather wanting to fight him.
I don't want to make that story.
You can be modest.
I don't want to make the story big and the issues big. So I just want to. I want to keep my mouth shut.
The rivalry between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather remains intense, despite their in-ring clash taking place years ago. Mayweather has consistently claimed superiority, insisting Pacquiao could never match him, either as a boxer or a public figure. In interviews, Floyd frequently downplays Pacquiao's legacy while glorifying his own, rejecting any comparison between them. He portrays himself as boxing's unmatched icon, often dismissing Manny's achievements as insignificant in the sport's grand history.
Manny Pacquiao spoke about that. He shouldn't have.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Because it's a time and a place for everything. I'm not going to say he's right and I'm not going to say he's wrong. You know, but it's so crazy. When he spoke about it, I could have easily came out and said, yeah, you spoke about it. I ain't have to say nothing. Just by you saying my name, they gave me a check for $4 million. He said my name when he didn't supposed to. Remember I said, it's a time and a place for any and everything. Manny Pacquiao he's not a better fighter than me.
Floyd, what is your assessment of Manny Pacquiao and his shoulder injury?
Come on. I mean, this is ridiculous. Excuses, excuses, excuses. He was throwing combinations. Everything seemed just fine. He lost. He know he lost. I lost a lot of respect for him. You know, you fight, if you lose, it's okay. Mayweather was the better man. We fight 10 times, I'm gonna win 10 times. We fight 20 times, I'm gonna win 20 times. We fight 100 times, I'm gonna win 100 times. Manny Pacquiao, you're not on my level. Manny Pacquiao, you will never be on my level. Period. Simple and plain. It's okay to be number 2. It's okay to be right behind me. It's okay. I won. I know I won. I know I'm a better fighter.
The boxing world has long debated the legacies of Pacquiao and Mayweather, with their contrasting styles, personalities, and achievements fueling ongoing comparisons. Even after their careers slowed, their names remain closely linked. Many fans and boxing figures favor Pacquiao when it comes to dignity and conduct. While Floyd flaunted wealth and hurled insults, Manny stayed humble and steady, earning lasting respect both in and out of the ring.
Peace. Romello Studs, my undisputed spirit. I got a question for y'all. What's more impressive? Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 or Manny Pacquiao's world titles in 8 different weight classes? Comment down below.
I won. I know I won. I know I'm the better fighter. We fight 10 times, I'm gonna win 10 times. We fight 20 times, I'm gonna win 20 times. We fight 100 times, I'm gonna win 100 times. Manny Pacquiao he's not a better fighter than me. Nowhere around the board.
Their rivalry even spilled into the courtroom when, in 2009, Pacquiao sued Mayweather for defamation over accusations of performance-enhancing drug use. Although the case was settled without damages, it deepened the animosity between the two boxing legends.
Dan Raphael. And Dan, what is Pacquiao hoping to accomplish with this lawsuit?
Well,
I know that the negotiations for this fight have been ongoing, but I just got off the telephone with Daniel Petrocelli, who was the attorney for Manny Pacquiao, literally moments before coming on the air, and I asked him that exact question. And his point was, regardless of whether or not they're negotiating this fight, that that the comments that they alleged that the Mayweather people had made were irresponsible and reckless and malicious, and they had to answer it no matter what. And so they felt like they had no choice but to file the lawsuit regardless of whether or not the fight takes place.
After retiring in 2021, Pacquiao fully committed to politics. Although his presidential bid in the Philippines was unsuccessful, he remains active in public service and charity work, reinforcing his reputation as a man dedicated to helping others and serving his country.
2015, remember that one. Pacquiao is now planning to run for president in his native Philippines this upcoming May. But Shannon, how will you remember Manny as a boxer?
Historically great fighter.
Good for you.
The only fighter to win 8 world titles. I mean, he started out boxing, he was 106 pounds, won a title at I think 112, and went all the way up to
108 first.
Went all the way up to 154.
It's impossible. It's just...
I don't believe, I feel very comfortable and said I don't believe we'll ever see that again, Skip.
We'll never see it again.
And it wasn't like he was fighting bums. When you go back and look at Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales and Oscar Larios and De La Hoya and Hatton and Cotto, Margarita, Mosley, Timothy Bradley, Mayweather, Skip. I mean, what do you got to say? He was a champion in 4 different decades.
Yep.
Fighter of the year. First ballot Hall of Fame. He's great. He fought everybody.
Roy Jones Jr., a legend in his own right, stated that Floyd Mayweather's win over Manny Pacquiao shouldn't be overly celebrated. He argued that Pacquiao was past his prime, and Floyd capitalized on fighting an aging opponent instead of facing Manny at his peak.
I would not be able to take credit for beating Pacquiao after he got knocked out by Marquez, because that's not the same Pacquiao. Of course. That's not the Pacquiao at the top of his game. But in society today, we'll call that person the best fighter ever. When that's not how that goes. That's not reality. But in the business world it is, because look how much money.
Rapper 50 Cent, once close to Mayweather, claimed Floyd isn't as rich as he appears. He criticized Floyd's flashy lifestyle, calling it a facade built on exaggerated deals and fake flexing rather than real financial stability.
Does Floyd Mayweather, is he as rich as we think he is?
No.
So when we see the $1 million in the bag,
that money light money. Like, he can get his hands on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if
I need some of that light money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Anytime like that, look, he is who he is. You can't discredit who he is. Like, and again, I'll tell you, like, I don't mind, telling the truth in situations like this.
Speculation has long surrounded Floyd Mayweather's delay in fighting Pacquiao, with many believing he purposely avoided Manny during his prime, only agreeing to the bout once the Filipino star had noticeably declined.
My eyes keep telling me, wait, does Manny look like a steroid creation? Does he look like some mini Schwarzenegger? Well, I can give you any other thing that steroid can do, but not natural hand quickness. So if you're right about how Floyd Mayweather is the greatest defensive tactician in the history of boxing, what should he care about how ripped or big the head is of Manny Pacquiao? Pretty boy Floyd is worried that for the first time in his career, he is going to get hit and hit and hit. He's going to get cut. He's going to get hurt. He is scared to.
Old videos show Pacquiao publicly challenging Mayweather, urging him to accept the fight much earlier. Manny appeared eager to prove himself, while Floyd repeatedly delayed, offering vague excuses or shifting demands that stalled the matchup.
I want that fight happen because that's the fans want.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's up to him.
Yeah.
Now, all I can say is, let me say this.
Come on, man. What do you got?
My line is open 24 hours and 7 days a week. Anytime he can call me and say yes.
Not on that
I will
thing.
fight, and then the fight will be on.
Why hasn't he called you yet? Do you think he doesn't want to fight you? Why hasn't he called you yet?
I don't know.
I know you just put the phone there, but
Is it a collect call?
It's a collect call. You don't need to pay something or anything. It's a collect call, and he can call me anytime. If he say yes, and then the fight will be on.
Despite being one of the highest paid athletes in history, Floyd Mayweather's financial situation has faced multiple public setbacks, from IRS tax liens to questionable purchases. As a result, his image as a stable businessman has steadily deteriorated.
Floyd Mayweather just signed a deal to lease an apartment in Midtown Manhattan. He's going to be paying $100,000 per month for this place. Here's the apartment, you guys. It's got 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, 4,000 square feet, and the place is pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie. The description says that this is a double unit and it is a corner unit, so you got a ton of natural light in here. Do you think this place is worth $100,000 per month? Why would Floyd spend $100,000 a month on this apartment? If I had to guess, it would be a combination of owning something is just kind of a liability. Plus, I'm pretty sure whenever you rent a place versus buy a place for business purposes, you're able to write off more of that lease payment. So if I had to guess, that $100,000 per month is going to be a pretty big write-off for him based on how he plans to use this place.
Floyd recently claimed to have purchased a building worth over $400 million, but the statement raised doubts. Critics questioned the source, proof, and true intent behind the claim, pointing out the lack of public records or validation.
Boxing.news. The beef between 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather is heating up again. 50 Cent posted a video calling out Floyd's claim of spending $400 million on NYC apartments, saying there's no proof of the purchase. The long-running feud continues, with 50 Cent suggesting Floyd's real estate empire may be a fancy fantasy. Floyd has remained silent, but the drama shows no signs of ending.
Floyd Mayweather is trying to buy a piece of the New York Giant. Floyd, I know you're the GOAT in boxing. I don't need you to come to the NFL, especially to the NFC East, and mess with the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys got going on. We got 2 easy wins against the Giants every year. I don't need you messing that up like Magic Johnson did when he went to the Washington Commanders and took them to the NFC Championship.
Adding to the skepticism, 50 Cent once again called out Mayweather, claiming there's no proof the building is actually in his name. He mocked Floyd's statement as another attempt to grab headlines without any factual basis.
Did Floyd Mayweather make a good real estate deal? Let's break it down really quick so you can understand. Yes, the fuck he did. Let's start off with the purchase price. He bought 1,000 units for $402 million. What's the math? 402 million. Let's say 400 million divided by 1,000 units. That's what, people? $400,000. Okay, follow me. Now, rent in New York is about $3,000 to $4,000 for 2 or 3 bedrooms. Crazy, I know. That's how they live in though. Now keep up. 400,000. What's 1% of 400,000? All right, that's $4,000. In real estate, there's something called the 1% rule, which means if something is 1% of the purchase price in rent, that means it is a cash flowing possibility, opportunity. So he has a cash flowing property straight out the gate. I'm not going to mention the hundreds of millions of dollars in tax exemptions he will get for this property. It's a win for Floyd. He doesn't lose.
Other reports have backed 50 Cent's stance, highlighting the lack of verification for Floyd's massive real estate claims. The numbers don't add up, and Floyd's refusal to provide documentation further damages his credibility.
As of today, none of the buildings that Floyd Mayweather claimed that he bought, his name is not listed as the owner of those buildings. Now, maybe it's an oversight. I hope that Floyd Mayweather bought these buildings legit.
Insiders and critics, including 50 Cent, claim Floyd Mayweather has shown jealousy toward his protege, Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Instead of supporting Tank's potential, Mayweather allegedly focused on keeping the spotlight on himself, hindering Davis's growth.
I want to talk this Tank Davis fight, and I want to talk 50 and Mayweather. 50 said that Tank better get away from old boy because Mayweather got a jealous heart and Mayweather only wants himself to win. I found that, I think that was 50's IG, I think. You know what I'm saying? I think that was one of his posts. IG, Twitter, I don't know which one.
Floyd's business model relied on making fans dislike him by playing the villain, convincing them to pay just to see him lose. While it was financially successful, it tarnished his legacy, replacing admiration with controversy.
This is Manny Mayweather,
not Pretty Boy Floyd. You see, in boxing, usually people have like an alter ego, the character they play. He had to change his character from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money because Pretty Boy Floyd had a problem. You need to listen. Now, the problem was he was tiny, but more than that, his hands were tiny. Now, I don't know much about JB, but I know he ain't big. And them boy got the same frame. That's twinning him. Now, let me be more specific. It wasn't his hands so much that were tiny. It's that they were brittle. It's believed to be genetic because his dad broke his hand and his uncle broke his hand. Yeah, they were all boxers and them boys could throw hands. That does not mean he had it easy. You see, his dad sold a bunch of stuff and his mom did a bunch of stuff. So to escape his traumatic childhood, all he would do is train day in and day out. He said, I had to take care of my mom. But he trained so much because it's all he knew that his hand started to hurt. Now during a match, he breaks his hand. It turns out that both of his hands were severely injured. They told him, Floyd, you're not boxing anymore. He said, nah, I'm finna box. They said, no, you're not hearing me. The problem is you already beat everybody your size. Listen, Floyd had a bigger issue. He needed to start boxing people that were way bigger than him because everybody his size couldn't hang with him. So if his hands were breaking against smaller guys, against bigger guys, he about to have no arms. So Mayweather's team said we need to switch things up. This dude, Mayweather's promoter, said switch things. What not? Everything's saying the same, stupid. He said unless y'all got $750K, the end of your contract is done. Mayweather said here. He said, what? I don't pay you that much. Mayweather said I've been saving up for this day. He said, oh, okay, big dog, you got it. So they devised a plan. Go from Pretty Boy to Money. See, Pretty Boy loved to throw hands, but Money was a defensive specialist. In fact, he's easily considered as the greatest defensive boxer of all time. But that wasn't the only reason he changed his name. Look at that man's face. See, Mayweather was known to talk smack and aggravate people, but this made things even worse because now he's blocking and running away. So people was like, you doing all this talking, but you running. In a way, he's throwing in some hits here and there, and before you know, when the fight's over, he lands so many more hits that he always wins. So people would always say, Mayweather, you boring, you not throwing hands for real. His reply was always, nah, do something about it. So people lost it. They started paying to see him lose. But this strategy was none other than Muhammad Ali's strategy. In his words, he would talk so much trash that people would pay to see him lose. They would get disappointed every time, so they would come back next time and spend some more money, but the only person winning is Muhammad Ali. So this turns Mayweather into one of the richest athletes of all time. Why? Because of his brittle hands. So don't let anyone ever tell you you can't do something.
Floyd Mayweather's obsession with money has become his defining trademark. He's often seen carrying duffel bags full of cash, flaunting lavish jewelry, cars, and planes at every opportunity. What once seemed impressive now feels desperate to many observers. In one notorious incident, Floyd was spotted counting stacks of cash during a live event, completely ignoring the ongoing fight. These extravagant stunts, once viewed as cool, now come off as signs of insecurity and denial rather than genuine success. Despite these public displays of wealth, Floyd has faced significant financial struggles. Reports reveal he has had trouble paying taxes and may have relied on quick earnings from exhibition bouts to cover financial gaps. The IRS has filed multiple liens against him, including $22 million from 2015 and $7.2 million from earlier years. These figures are backed by official legal records, confirming the seriousness of Floyd's financial trouble.
Small segment in that episode that stated that a lot of fighters believe in their immortality. You know what I mean? We've seen this before. So the question I ask, we have seen this movie before. Boxers traditionally going broke. You know, they start off well, so flamboyant, with all this money and all these cars, and they have businesses they invest in. There's something special, you know, at least in their minds they are. And then after either retirement or near retirement, or after the game has left them, traditionally boxers go broke, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not saying this is going to happen to Floyd Mayweather, but I swear on everything, man, I hope it doesn't happen to Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather is going to go down in the halls of history, ladies and gentlemen, as possibly top 3 to top 5 to top 10 of all-time greats. I mean, depending on how you view Floyd Money Mayweather. But however, he is definitely the #1 boxer of my era, ladies and gentlemen, of my time on this earth of watching this sport of boxing. No one has the skill set of Floyd Money Mayweather. Carve it up, chop it up how you like. Get on the debate about his opponents, all this other crap. we can have that for another video. But this man is going to go down in history as an all-time great without a doubt. And it's going to, and I understand the argument for those who want to maybe even present the argument that he's the #1 greatest of all time. I see valid points in that argument. I don't agree with that, but I see valid points in that argument. This is a great boxer. We are going to miss Floyd Money Mayweather when he leaves the sport, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact remains, Floyd Money Mayweather and all of his accomplishments and all of his great things he's done inside the ring, however, it seems to be playing the same tune and or acting in the same movie of a lot of boxers that make a lot of money.
Despite mounting debts, Floyd Mayweather hasn't slowed down his lavish spending. He continues purchasing exotic cars, private jets, and luxury goods, showing no signs of budgeting. His behavior seems rooted in denial rather than strategy. Fellow athletes, celebrities, and even fans have increasingly called out Floyd's lifestyle, which, once seen as entertaining, now feels wasteful and out of touch with reality, especially amid global economic struggles. Mayweather, who once inspired millions with his rags-to-riches boxing story, now makes headlines not for his sports achievements, but for being investigated in a massive scam worth hundreds of millions.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. I mean, we all know him, the tremendous, talented boxer, but people don't realize how smart he is in business, especially real estate. He just did a blockbuster deal, forget about it. Upper Manhattan, 1,000 units, consisting of 60 buildings, affordable housing, $402 million purchase price. The seller, Black Spruce Management. This is going to be a monster huge deal. Already a very big portion of it already closed. The remaining portion should be closing the beginning of 2025. This is a guy who believes in long-term wealth, generational wealth. He's heavily involved in skyscrapers. Now he's getting very, very big in affordable housing in Upper Manhattan. Tremendous deal, $402 million. Once again, 1,000 units, 60 buildings. Forget about it, not owned. That's what I'm talking about. That's smart. That's generational wealth, in my opinion. Not financial advice, not a financial planner, but very, very impressed. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Not too shabby. V for victory.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates in the next one.